Bienvenido, damas y caballeros. Welcome back to Freeform Radio on the Freeform Network. You could follow us on Twitter at Freeform Network. Remember sending those questions and suggestions, ffnquestions at gmail.com. Again, this is Freeform Radio. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Daniel. With me today is Noel.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us.
And we got Andy.
It's all good, Andy. Glad you
Yeah.
guys were able to join us this week.
Yes, sir. Back together for episode 206. Man, still rocking and rolling. That fall weather is finally here. But let's throw it over to Andy and catch up with some of the stuff that he's got going on. In particular, I see that got your interest is this Israel attack. Now, I got to admit, I don't really know much about it. And to be honest, until yesterday, I didn't see it hit the news feed. So fill us in on what you know.
Yeah, I mean, sorry to start the show off with such like depressing news and the beginning of like World War III here, but I mean, I don't know. This is pretty much like Bible stuff. Hamas attacked Israel over the weekend as of this recording, and like they sent in missiles. They sent people on motorcycles and plane, like these like makeshift helicopter things, and like no matter what your political belief or what your beliefs are, or the state of Palestine, if call it that, or Israel, this is pretty messed up, man, and it's gonna. I mean, it's. I mean, of course, this is Israel and the Arab states has been going on forever, but this time it's allegedly Israel was completely caught off guard, which is kind of hard to believe. Netanyahu already said this is their 9/11. I mean, Hamas like entered Israel and like rounded up civilians and shot them and killing elderly people. Like it's gonna get pretty bad. And like what we have going on in Europe with Ukraine, that whole NATO thing Putin was talking about, nuking stuff this week again, and now we have this, and then top it all off, Hamas is saying that Ukraine sold them weapons that they used in this attack, and guess where Ukraine's getting all their weapons? It's from the United States and NATO. So it's just like completely, it's a fucking shit show. And whatever your like religious beliefs are, like this is just this is talked about in Revelations for all you Christians out there. And Biden already came out yesterday, said that he's gonna back up Israel. I think he said, Israel, we have your back, or something like that at the press conference. So the path this is going down to, where the world is heading, it's kind of sad, and like you're gonna get all the religious people up saying it's end times, and then I was even seeing videos, people saying that some of the Jewish people, the religious people are saying their Christ is going to return in 5 months. So it's a revelation of everything: religion, war, humane, atrocities. People, human beings are going to be suffering even more, and it kind of it's been. I've been watching a lot of it the last couple of days, and like I think America. I mean, they talk about it in the news. I think only like religious people or Jewish people who are Jewish, or even the Palestinians, people that are here, really keep an eye on it. But the average American, I think they really don't care. We're kind of sick of wars. But I don't know what you guys, Danny kind of mentioned you don't know much about it, or know well. I mean, this is bad, dude. Like this could, Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, said like this can go on. This could suck them into a really long war. And if they go into Gaza and all that, where the Palestinian people are, if they like wipe them out, like all the Arab countries might join up and attack Israel. Like it's pretty bad. It's like a very delicate situation.
Yeah. Now you had mentioned they got hit with some missiles because isn't Israel got like one of the best air defense? They call it the dome, I
Yes.
believe, that prevents
Yeah, the
from
Iron
any
Dome.
missiles. Yeah, from any missiles hitting them. So were they missiles that hit it?
Yeah. So what happened is the initial attack, they weren't ready for it. So once they know it attacks, the dome works. It shoots out missiles like things to blow it up. But they need the earlier the better. It was like completely unexpected. So and a lot of people got hit, and it was a lot of, I mean, like thousands of deaths, I believe, on the Israeli side. And there were people uploading videos last night of the dome working. And it's just like you see all these like flares and stuff going up in air and stuff exploding. But unfortunately, it can't get them all, but it does get a big chunk of them. So, like I said, it's but they're like going actually into Israel, like they're going into Israeli like land, like into neighborhoods and like
Right,
rounding up people.
soldiers.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right.
or what? Yeah, the
Yeah,
terrorists, soldiers, whatever you want to call them. Yeah,
yeah, for sure. The Iron Dome is not going to be able to prevent soldiers from, going into your territory. But yeah, man, I know they've been fighting for that land forever from all sides on Israel. So it's always been a very delicate situation throughout my lifetime. You've always heard of, it going back and forth and different countries, different personalities trying to attack Israel. So it's definitely something that I would hope that there would be more peace in that land, especially since my religion, that was like God's hood right there. That's like where he came from. I mean, I was like, I don't
yeah,
understand. I don't
yeah,
understand. But everybody believes that their religion is correct. So I could understand the passion that some people have, but it's very unfortunate. And then especially if that wrinkle comes out true. So I don't know how true it is or not, if it's been proven, but that arms came from Ukraine, it definitely puts a black eye on the United States, not only towards the tensions with Russia, but now with tensions with Israel, with providing arms to their enemies.
yeah. So a lot of people, I think Hamas, the organization said that they purchased them from Ukraine, that they sold them to them. But also, there's people saying that they believe that it came from when U.S. pulled out of Afghanistan. A lot of people think that those arms are that's where those are from too. How the hastily repeat of Biden messed all that up. So it's like that's what the world on Twitter. But I think Hamas did put out a statement or a video that they got them from Ukraine. So I don't know if it's like counter intelligence type of stuff to try to get people all stirred up, so the U.S. won't get involved. But again, yeah, I mean, like I said, this is like some end time stuff that's going on over there. Like always, the Middle East, right? Because if you read your Bible, it's like that's where the end is, and it's pretty. Anytime there's war like this, it it gets pretty bad because there's a lot of nation, like such a little tiny country, and like the whole world's like involved there, and it drags in a lot of people, a lot of other countries, and like, you know I don't know, man. I just like I'm saying, I'm pretty I am keeping an eye on it, but like history is always repeating itself. And the way the Israelis said that this ain't gonna be quick, they're like, this is gonna be drawn out, which kind of is like, oof, that's not good. And then they have the capability of like just wiping out, like leveling, like the Palestinian, the Gaza Strip or wherever they're from, or that little section they have where the West Bank. I think that's what a lot of people are hoping for. So all the um, like the Arab countries unite and go in there, and if that happens, that's when it gets really nasty. I don't know. That's when I really think the world's gonna end. I mean, this is just the beginning of something that could get really bad real quick.
Yeah, man, it's truly sad, man. The more and more I think, like I mentioned, I've been trying to stay out of social media for a while now, and it's working, man. It's definitely given me a more internal peace for myself, and also I've been more and more trying to remove myself from buckets, and I don't know a good word to use, but to not identify myself to one thing except being a child of God kind of thing. And I think these identifier markers, which seems to be the craze nowadays, everybody wants to get identified and everybody wants to be put on a label and say, this is what I am. I think things like that is what progresses some of these issues, because obviously everybody who identifies as something, they believe that they are the number one and that everybody else is incorrect. So that just perpetuates these problems, and where if we all just identify that we're all just children of God, then it'd be a lot more chill because I won't care what you're doing because we're all brothers and sisters all the same. So I don't know, man. I don't know what the answers are for a lot of these things, but it definitely is scary to think of the future. I'm in my 40s. I've lived a good life, but I'm definitely not ready for the end.
You're in your
But
late 40s.
right, yeah, yeah, it still includes 40s, right? But yeah, so it's scary to think of my son's future and the world that will be left for him. So I'm definitely fulfilled with my life and definitely want to live a lot more years. But my son's barely starting, and to have a world that's kind of crazy, yeah, it's kind of scary.
Yeah, man. Again, it's I don't know. It's trouble seeing the news and what's coming out of there, and yeah, I mean, like you're talking about, like you recognize or I don't want to say identify, but you're children of God or a man of God. But like here, even Christians, we fight amongst ourselves about how to pray and how to worship Him, and like it just when he said that, I remember I was thinking like of this show I was watching, and we're praying, and then a reborn Christian and a person um, who I believe was of Jewish faith. They started praying, and then they got into an argument if this is a in God we pray or in Jesus the name we pray, and they got into that argument, and it got pretty heated, man. And I was just like, here we go, like we can't even agree on how to pray, even though it's basically the same God. It's just the way we worship Him, and people get into arguments get pretty heated pretty quickly, and like things escalate. That's what I'm saying. Like it's never just like people don't walk away. Things just escalate quickly.
It's difficult to avoid all this stuff because it's I don't want to get too much into the conspiracy stuff, but there is stuff going on beyond what we know, and there's a lot of people of influence and power that want things to go a certain way, and oftentimes when we start finding out all these hidden things, they'll throw out these distractions to distract us from the truth. And I think you guys talked about alien bodies being found recently on the previous episode and stuff like that. It really like reiterates that we are kind of like just pawns in a game of chess that these global elite influence and really powerful people are playing. And we don't know the moves they're going to make until they already made it. And we're just kind of forced to follow along. And what I feel bad for is the innocent people in both Palestine and Israel who they're just trying to live their life in peace. And there's a lot of evil people out there that are very powerful and have a lot of money and military influence as well. And so it's one of those things, man. Like we're going. It seems like we're going to the end times, but that's because somebody is controlling it in that way and steering us in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that believe that. I mean, one of the things I saw was like we've seen so much footage of this war. I mean, that just happened this weekend compared to what's going on in Ukraine. You know, and I'm just like, well, some of that made sense to me. Like you seen like very handful of war footage from Ukraine and the Russians, and this one, it's just like there's just footage of just endless amount of footage from both sides, and that was another thing that was just like, yeah, that's a to me that's a valid point, because Ukraine, I think for the elites here in America and in Europe, that's not going how it's supposed to. I don't know if that decision was made or what, but that's why a lot of information isn't coming out about it. I mean, I read a report the other day that basically a lot of people in NATO, in the European countries, are saying like, yeah, Ukraine lost, like it's over, and like they want to stop sending money and supplies. And here, Biden came out the other day, he's like, we want to send more money, more supplies, and like, why? If members in your organization, NATO, are saying that like it's over, and like he's adamant we got to keep uh, doing this, sending more money, yet he won't send money to what happened in Hawaii with those residents who lost their home, and like it's super expensive to live there. He's only going to give them like $1,400 or something, or $1,700. I forget the amount, but that's nothing. Yeah, he's. I was reading today. He's asking people if he could get support to send like another 100 billion bucks or something. I'm like, that's insane, dude. Like, with inflation and with all the stuff that's going on here in America and Hawaii, like they're getting all this money. We're having problems just trying to fund certain schools and stuff. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I'm over here trying to balance my checkbook, and they're just giving away, you know, billions and billions of dollars. And who's going to pay all this money in the future? I mean, they
Yeah,
can't just keep printing out money. So I have no idea what they're doing.
it's like Tupac said, man. They got money for wars, but they can't feed the poor. So I mean and they shut down, they gunned down that man. But I mean that one street, one line right there is as real as it could fucking get, and like and like
They,
they always got money for wars. I used to think, oh no, man, there ain't no money, but they always make more money. They always have money for wars.
yeah, did you see that they just caught or arrested some guy for the murder of Tupac's?
Yeah, the Keefe D. He was in the car. He's been going on Vlad and some other stuff. I think he wrote a book, but I known that for a couple years that he was saying that he was in the car and that they used his Glock to shoot him, and that I think the guy that shot him was his nephew or something like that, and he's dead. So yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do with him. That's another thing, like, getting into conspiracy theories. Did you guys know that the feds were watching like Tupac and like Death Row and like the Biggie and like Bad Boy? The feds were watching them. They had them like under 24/7 surveillance.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, and they were watching them. They had like all these intel and stuff on them, and I think before Biggie went out to California, they told them not to go, but they still went. And I know they started watching Pac. I remember reading a book, and then someone made a documentary about it, how they were watching them. And you know, so to me, that's like the government knew some shit about it, and uh, they always know, dude. And so that's why, going back to Noel, like somebody always lets shit go by, and like there's a reason for all this. And like to me, when the government says they didn't know, they fucking know. They made a decision just to let it go, or they don't want to share information, because they know everything. Uh,
Dude,
they
like
have everything monitored, so they know.
JFK, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Tupac,
Yeah.
Biggie. The list goes on. They know of all that stuff, and there's obvious. It's obvious that when people of influence that are becoming more popular, mainstream culture, and they are trying to spread a good message, you clearly see that like that. It doesn't last long. They don't like that.
No, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They know everything. I mean, especially the apparatus since like World War II. After that, they came in here, especially with J. Edgar Hoover and the wiretaps, and like they know, man. They have so much stuff on people, and especially people think it's like with electronics, not as much as now, but back in the day, with the internet and all that, they have access to all that, and like um, people like Snowden said so. Like they could search anything, they could get access to your laptop, and they have access to it even if you're not on the internet. There was somebody I was listening to saying even not you're on the internet, you get into that. Like they can get into it without any hesitation. They just can do it. But that's enough time for me, man. But I'll keep an eye on it, man. I'm just saying, to me it's pretty sad because what's going on in Israel. It's to me, it's always like when I see stuff like that, I get nervous because to me, it's like the beginning of the end, we're gonna go into World War III. Um, but let's lighten up the mood here, man. Somebody's been gaming. Uh, Noel's the beat the a video game Ghost of Tsushima. Did I say that right? I'm guessing it's is that a PlayStation thing or no?
Yeah, so that's it's a
This
PS5
guy,
game.
yeah. The what's his name? The what's the name of the character? I can't think of the damn name right now. Medal
Uh,
of Gears of no, I can't think of the name. Just go, man.
no worries, dude. Yeah, it's a PS5 game. I think it came out on PS4 originally, but they made like I guess remastered, upgraded version, collector director cut edition, and that's the one that I got for PS5. It was actually one of the first games I got for the PS5, and so yeah, I actually beat it quite a while ago. It's been months now at this point, but I still kind of remember the gist of it, and the story was excellent, man. The story was excellent. The gameplay was so smooth. Um, Everybody was hyping it up before I played it, and I took my sweet time with it. I wanted to explore every inch of the whole, like, because there's multiple islands, and I did that. I did exactly that. I pretty much conquered everything except there's a bunch of shrines that you can go to, and they do give you benefits, but not combat benefits. And so because of that, I'm like, I'm not gonna go to every shrine. I'll go to like a lot of them, and I did do like over half of them. But there's a couple that I didn't want the skills they were giving or whatever they gave you the little bonus. I didn't care about it. I mainly was focused on combat and really just that and trying to kill everybody as quick as possible.
Oh man, you didn't find every fox that you needed to find?
That I did, because the foxes give you benefits. I forgot exactly what they do. They
Right.
give you like there's one that gives you health, and there's one that gives you like more, what is it, spiritual energy. I can't remember exactly, but I did get all the fox ones, and I got the majority of the shrines too. The ones that I'm talking about that I didn't get all of them are the ones that are on like the top of mountains. Like the really hard to get to ones,
Right.
and sometimes they'll give you like a defensive bonus. But I'm like, I don't give a shit about defense. I'm destroying these guys already. Like, what do I need to defend for? Uh, and yeah, I got really good with it, man. I got really good with the combat, and I ended up increasing the difficulty a little bit because I was like, this is getting too easy. And I even asked my cousin, I'm like, yo, it's supposed to be easy. He's like, it does get pretty easy when you get to the end game because you have everything. You have like max health. You have your the best, weapon, the best armor setup, and all your things are maxed out. So yeah, it got really easy towards the end. And
Yeah, I think it even gets easier because you start getting the mechanics of the sword, block, parry. and it really gives you a sense of accomplishment when you get to the end and you just start, slashing these guys really easy and beating the game a lot easier.
Definitely, man. That's definitely it. And you get a lot of cool perks and bonus weapons. You get to throw like you get to do stealth stuff with like firecrackers to distract people and you slice them from behind or you got your bow and arrow and you just take out like a whole freaking pretty much platoon with just a bow and arrow. I got that good with it from a distance. I could be like at the top of like a cliff or a hill, and I could just see where all the people are because there's like a way to like have them highlighted by like doing this like stealth mode, whatever you want to call it. And so I could see where everyone was, and I would just aim and fire, and that was it. And you have flaming arrows, you have the kunais, you have like bombs that you could throw, and it was really cool. Like the mechanics of it was amazing. It's probably the best game I've played combat wise of all time. Um,
Yeah, it definitely does give you a sense of new generation. I know when I played it, I had never played anything like that where the guidance mechanic was totally different and really fresh. The whole combat thing was really cool. Um in a different way to work it. So definitely a lot of cool things that happened in that game that made it feel totally new and different.
Exactly. Yeah. And yeah, like you mentioned, that wind mechanic that guides you, that was really cool. Like being able, like if you got stuck or you're like, man, where am I supposed to go? You use the wind thing and it kind of blows the wind in a certain directions, like go that way. And so, yeah, that part was really cool. Getting to liberate all the different, villages was awesome. Talking to most people. Like it felt like I was part of the world. Like they really immerse you in it. And yeah, I would say I gave it like a 9.5 out of 10. Like it's honestly one of my favorite games of all time. After I beat it, and it's like I knew that it was coming to an end. I did everything, literally almost everything except like I said the shrines. There was a couple that they give you like defensive bonus or something like that, and I was like, I don't care about that. I'm not gonna try to unlock the secret to the shrine just to get a
Right.
defensive bonus, like a bonus I'll never use. So yeah, I mean, I didn't 100% it, but I got really really far with it. I beat the whole story campaign, and I heard you could even do like another campaign or whatever, and you get some kind of bonus. So maybe down the line, like in a year, I'll try that again. And I hear Ghost of Tsushima 2 is in the works, so I'm excited for that as well.
Yeah,
But
for sure. Ghost of Tsushima 2. They got a TV show coming around as well.
that's
And then
right.
I'm not sure if you got a chance to play the DLC, but the DLC, it's a little bite size. It's not a huge game extension, but you go to another island and you end up um, over there on that side because some of the enemies or the bad guys from the main game retreat to this island and you can go over there and finish off the whole thing.
Yeah, I believe I forgot what the name of the island was, but isn't that the?
Iki Island or something like that. I
I
can't
think
remember.
so. Yeah, I think that's it. Well, that's where his father died, right?
Yeah, where the main war happened, and yeah, really cool storyline too, man. With the whole Japanese. Now, with the PlayStation 5, did you play it with the original Japanese language? Because you could play it original Japanese. You could even turn on this filter where it's black and white, and it gives you like this noir feel, like the old school Japanese movies. Really cool stuff as part of the bonuses for the game.
Yeah, so I played in the Japanese language. Obviously I don't understand it, but the subtitles were obviously I'm so used to reading the subtitles when I watch anime, so it was like pretty easy to follow along. Although when you're in the middle of combat and you're like trying not to die and there's dialogue, sometimes a couple words will pass by that I don't really I can't read it. But for the most part, I was able to understand everything that was being said and read along and everything. And I feel like it's the most authentic way to play it because that's like the intention is the samurai game and there's Japanese people, it's Japanese culture. So to hear their authentic voices in their native language, I think that immersed me even more. And so that I recommend it for people that haven't played it that way. Just give it a shot. I think you might like it.
Well, good you played it on PlayStation 5 because if you would have played it on PlayStation 4, you could have put the Japanese language, but the mouse would not sync to the Japanese words. So it would look like a Japanese movie that's in English where the words aren't matching the characters' mouth movements, but the opposite way.
They do that on
Yeah.
purpose.
No, it was a limitation on the PlayStation 4. They could only do the visual recording for one language, so they decided to do it for English. So every other language that they support, all the mouths don't sync, but because of the PlayStation 5's extra horsepower, they were able to sync the mouths to every other language, depending on what language you selected.
Damn, that's weird.
Yeah, no, playing on the PS5, I've seen like videos comparing it, the PS4 and 5, and man, it looks so like crisp. It was sharp, it was beautiful, it was vibrant. The environment, man, like you could just go exploring and then have fun
Right.
just doing that. That's how good it looked. Um, and it's been since like 2000, what, maybe 4 to 2006. I remember when I had Crisis on the PC, I built a custom PC. That was one of the first ones I built. It was actually the second one I built just for that game, Crisis. And I remember I did it because the environment looked so good. Well, this game blows it out of the water, man. Like it, man, it was so beautiful looking. You really feel like you're there. And the blood and everything, the physics, the the ragdoll effects, the explosions, the slashing, the slicing of people, everything just seemed authentic and looked cool. So can't speak even more highly of it. I can go on all day about it, man. But yeah, I got to move on. Give it a 9.5 out of 10. Highly recommend it to anyone that likes samurai games, combat games, historical games, or just an action game on PS5. Definitely get it. And the next thing I want to fill you guys in on, I watched this movie, Guillermo del Toro. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that director.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
He's made a bunch of successful movies. Pan's Labyrinth. He's made the new Pinocchio.
Even
He
video games.
Hmm.
He's worked a
even
lot
video
with
games.
with Hitsuro, what the hell was his name? The guy from Metal
Hideo
Gear Solid.
Kojima.
Yeah, Kojima.
Yeah, he's worked with Kojima. He was making that Silent Hills at one point. He was gonna be like influence on it, but then they canceled it. Hideo Kojima left Konami. But anyway, yeah, Guillermo del Toro, he's a horror director, mainly focuses on horror, but it's always with like a twist. It's not your typical horror. And so this movie I saw, Devil's Backbone, or in Spanish, El Espinazo del Diablo, um, was a really unique hidden gem that I think most people aren't aware of, but it's actually a really well done movie. It's a ghost story that the ghost part of it is more like secondary. It really deals more with just like the the drama and tough times during like World War II in Spain. Um, all of Europe pretty much was affected by World War II. Even the countries that weren't involved were still affected by it. Um, indirectly, if not directly. So it kind of gives you like an isolated story of an orphanage in Spain during, World War II. I believe it's World War II. It could be World War One, but it seemed like the 30s. So I'm thinking it's World War II.
Yeah,
Um,
World War II Spain, they kind of supported the Nazis.
and it doesn't focus too much on the war itself, but
Hmm.
more so on this orphanage that they're just struggling to get by. Like they're almost on the point of starvation, and there's a new orphan that gets dropped off. I guess his father was one of the revolutionaries that ended up dying, and so they left the kid there, and the two soldiers that dropped him off, they went back to go to fight, and so the orphanage is run by just a couple of women and one older man who's like a doctor scientist kind of, and they kind of do their best to run this, but obviously they're almost barely able to feed themselves, and so they're almost on the point of starvation, and all they have is gold, but they've been giving gold to like the revolutionaries to buy weapons and all that stuff. But one of the orphans that grew up there is older now. He's like an adult. He wants to steal the gold and run off with it, and he's obviously not a good character, a good person at all. And so a lot of the younger kids get bullied by this older guy, and it kind of goes into the ghost story of it. And the ghost story part of it, I don't know if I want to spoil the whole thing, but it's it's like there's no way around it. Otherwise, sounds like a boring story. But all right, so spoilers, guys. Here it is. It's still good. It is. You should still watch it. But anyway, spoilers. The the story is about a kid who ended up getting killed by the older guy that wants to steal the gold. The older kid, he's like a young adult, maybe like 19, 20. He ended up like the kid found out that he was going to steal the gold, and to keep him from being, to ratting on him, he ended up like pushing him and like bullying him, but he ended up hitting the a wall, and it like bust his head open, and he started like having a seizure. To avoid having anybody else come and check on him and all that, he just
Damn.
threw him in this like pit of water. They have like this like water pit in the basement. It's kind of like, it looks like a dungeon, honestly. I don't know what this place was, but it looks like a dungeon, and there's like a pit of water, and he throws the kid in there, and the kid obviously drowns. He's like having a seizure in the water. He just dies, and it's like a pretty deep pit. So they never found him. Like he just disappeared, right? They never knew that he was down there, because this is like a weird, like secluded dungeon looking basement, and there's like a weird pit of water that nobody's ever going to go, excavate or investigate. So this
Hmm.
kid essentially just disappeared, and all the other kids, the orphans, they thought like, well, what the hell happened? They thought he ran away or something. They didn't know. But then the ghost starts haunting the orphanage, and it's like trying to communicate with the kids, so that way, they can get the attention, and get the older kid, incarcerated or whatever you want to call it, like in trouble and all that. And so this new orphan that arrives, it's not that he becomes friend with the ghost, but he is more curious about it. He's not afraid of him the same way the other kids are. And so, long story short, to kind of cut it and summarize it here, the older kid ends up just devastating the orphanage, and he does a lot of really messed up shit that ends up killing a lot of people. And the kids are pretty much at the mercy of the older kid at the end of it, but they use the ghost to save themselves. And revenge is had at the end of it. Revenge is had. It's ultimately kind of just a sad drama story with ghost twist, and it's definitely worth watching. And it's called The Devil's Backbone.
Sounds good, man. To be honest with you.
It's really good, man. I was surprised, but I bought it on 4K Blu-ray, and I watched it just a couple weeks ago. Definitely recommend it. It's a Spanish language film,
Hmm.
FYI for everyone. So if you don't speak Spanish, definitely put the subtitles. But it's 100% worth watching, and yeah, I recommend that one. I would probably give that one an 8.5 out of 10.
Wow. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm in a horror kick right now as well. We're kind of watching a few horror movies for the month, for Halloween. So maybe I'll have to tune in and check it out.
for sure, man. And yeah, so actually going on to a few other movies I watched, because like you mentioned, you're in a horror kick. Same with me, man. I always am in a horror kick, right? But especially in October, it's like that time of year where just like in Christmas time, you watch Christmas movies. Well, in October, I watch horror movies. And so I kind of made it a point to watch some sequels of some iconic movies. So of course, you guys know about Poltergeist. You guys probably know about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? But do you guys know about the sequels to those movies? Have you ever seen Poltergeist 2 or the Texas Chainsaw sequels?
I think I seen Poltergeist, the second one, but it wasn't as good as the
Yeah,
first
that's the one
one.
where they go to like a high rise and they're like in the downtown Chicago or something.
No, no, that's
No,
a different one.
they're like at a farm or something with like,
Oh, I thought that was
right?
that part three where they go into a high rise.
No.
I haven't seen part three. I'll watch it and let you guys know on that one.
Okay.
But no, Poltergeist 2, I don't really want to go too much into detail, but it kind of picked up where the first one left off.
Yeah.
So the family leave the house,
Hmm.
and you know, when the first one ends, us as the audience, we're just kind of like, oh yeah, they left the house, they're going on to have a happy, good, lucky life. But when you go into the second one, it kind of gets you to think like, well, what would you do if you lost your house to a freaking like ghost or some demonic possession type stuff? What if your house just literally disappeared? You have a mortgage on this house. You have insurance. You have property taxes, right? What do you do when your house just disappears, dude? So I was thinking about it in that perspective. It was kind of cool to see that, yeah, like it really did have an impact. Like they have literally no house to live in, but they still have bills to pay, and they're trying to get the insurance to claim, but they can't. And all this turmoil and stuff. They ended up staying with a family, right? And the mother, the grandmother, is like trying to protect the family and all that. And there's this it kind of goes more into the story of how Poltergeist 1 even came to be. It's a sequel, but it goes into like the prequel story of Poltergeist, like
Right. They
what
go more into the old man, right?
exactly. Yeah, that
Yeah.
old man. And I mean, I guess I had to spoil this too, but the old man started a cult, and he convinced a lot of people to trust him. And he said that either the end of the world was coming or something like that, and he could like save them. It was just typical cult like behavior. And he grabbed all these people and he put them underground, and they were like in this kind of cave that the house was built on top of. And in this cave, they essentially just all committed suicide, kind of. And they ended up dying and being trapped there. The ghosts and spirits were, and the old man, he didn't resurrect, but he's like kind of like undead, like he's like a demon. And so he was trying to get to the girl, because once she kind of tapped into this other realm, when she was in that other realm in the Poltergeist 1, the ghosts that were there got let's say they got like a whiff of her sense, of her energy, of her innocence and essence, and they wanted that. They wanted her to stay there. Like it's like, imagine you live in like a sewer, and then all of a sudden somebody comes around with some Febreze. You're like, keep that Febreze here as long as possible, kind of thing. And so that's what they wanted the girl. And so the guy, the old man, wanted to bring the girl with him, but obviously the family is not going to let that happen. So it's a back and forth battle. And the old lady from the first one, the psychic or whatever, she ends
Hmm.
up making an appearance in it. And she kind of trains them on, like, you got to focus on your love for your family. And what's his name, fucking coach, he's
Craig
like,
T. Nelson.
yeah, Craig T. Nelson. He tries to like fight the demon, fight the old man, and protect his family. And it's a really good story, man. I'm surprised you didn't like it, Andy, but I think you should rewatch it. I thought it was really well done, especially because most sequels don't do that well.
Yeah.
It's kind of rare.
I saw it as like preteen. Like, dude, we watched Poltergeist. My cousins were into it, and then I was like freaked the fuck out. And then I remember the sequel. We rented it. My cousins rented it, and like we watched it. And I'm like, fuck this. I just remember the beginning. They're on a farm listening to the radio, and every time they go into town, they see the TVs and shit. And like that was it. Like the kids are like, oh, we miss TV and all this shit, right? Uh, the only thing, if you guys are on that Halloween kick, cult like movies, watch um Search the Believers. It's another 80s movie. I think you guys
Yeah.
might like that one. It's pretty good.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that with Martin Sheen.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That one
I
tripped me out too as a kid. It fucking freaked me the fuck out.
That was so good, man. Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually bought both of those. So I bought both Poltergeist 2 and I bought Believers.
I think they just put Believers on Blu-ray, or there was talks of 4K or something. That's the only reason.
Oh,
Uh,
snap.
and so I was trying to get the Blu-ray. They did a limited run on the Blu-ray, but it got super expensive, and I think they just did a mass release like last year.
Yeah, man. No, the horror movies are finally coming to 4K, so it's exciting news. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty
man.
much all I got for you guys on that.
I was gonna watch Poltergeist 1 um yesterday, but it ended up getting beat by Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1. So that's the
Ooh,
one I watched.
yeah, that's a good one too, man. Did Junior watch it too?
No, Junior was too freaked out. Anyways, I don't think he even knows anything about Freddy Krueger, and I don't even want to put it in his head. Otherwise, he might be sleeping in our room.
Oh man, no, that's it's good times, man. But yeah, moving on, man. What about you, Daniel? It looks like, man, dude, the Bears, they finally got their first win, dude. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, finally got their first win. So happy Chicagoans all around. I think everybody screamed for joy that the Bears finally pulled it off. They had a really long streak. I think it was over a year now since a win. So
They're
it was
pushing
rough.
14 games since their last win.
Yeah, so it's definitely something good that they finally pulled it together and got a win. But guys, enough talk about us. Let's get to our article of the week. All right. So let's jump into our article, man. Kind of a nutso one here with everybody getting delivery nowadays. But New York DoorDash deliverer charged with allegedly using food delivery to steal packages off of porches. Now the article kind of goes into it, but this lady here, who's seems like a decent looking lady here, uh, ends up doing delivery for DoorDash. I think in this particular video that's on the article, she's like for Chipotle, and she's just walking around with like a burrito bag in her hand, going to porches and stealing packages. So kind of crazy, man. I can't believe with how popular Ring is and everything, how people aren't timid about doing stuff like this. I mean, she kind of like ducks her face a little bit when she goes to it, and then she kind of darts away and kind of does a quick, step to get back to her car. But I can't believe these people think that they can get away with it. But yeah, with package deliveries becoming more prominent now, food deliveries becoming more prominent now. It's kind of something that we're gonna have to deal with. I think more and more as time goes on. But not much to the article. What do you guys think? Are you guys getting a lot of food delivery and package deliveries to your house?
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of package deliveries. We usually order out maybe once or twice a week. Uh, we use DoorDash. I think we were using it more in the beginning when it was cold. But I mean, I did get like a Ring camera. I got one gifted like a couple Christmases ago. But I wasn't a big fan of them, and with everything that's going on since I got it, I'm thinking about getting one. I'm still on the fence about it, but we do have we've been pretty lucky. I mean, during Christmas we order almost all the gifts online, and there's days my wife likes online shopping through Kohl's and Target, and a lot of that stuff. I mean, you got some big boxes sitting there, and we're gone all day. A lot of it's made it there, and even we've had medicine delivered. And I think our biggest issue, the medicine was delivered to the wrong address, actually like down the block. Um, but if we had the Ring, I know a lot of the apps post pictures and shit, like, but then you're like, that's not even my house, right? So, but I'm really considered about getting one. I know we haven't had any theft, but you never know. And like I said, I've been thinking about it a lot lately.
Yeah, man, I get weekly deliveries at least. I do the Amazon Fresh thing, and then I obviously get stuff through Amazon, just regular packages, orders that I get. But not, thank God, man, knock on wood, have not had any issues, and hope to not have any issues anymore. But Yeah, I mean, I could see why a lot of people they're worried about like theft and all that. And this new method, that's a little clever, but at the same time, like you said, obviously she got caught, so it wasn't that clever. But that's a new method, that's for sure. Trying to be
But
DoorDash.
the article didn't say if where they went, if they ordered it or not, right? That's what I don't understand. But or
I
she's
don't.
just walking around with like an empty like Chipotle bag or restaurant bag or something, you know?
y- Yeah, the article doesn't really go into it, so I don't believe they ordered food. They just mentioned that it was a Chipotle bag, so that would be the double whammy that you're ordering a burrito from Chipotle, Andy, and this lady's dragging to deliver it because she's out there stealing packages.
I think yeah, she's trying to say like, "Oh, I have the wrong address. I was just making a food delivery or something like that, right?" And then that's her excuse if somebody checks her while she's taking the shit or she's
Right,
thinking about it.
right.
So
For
I think that's what she's going for. But yeah, that was like, well, did they order it? And then they're like, "Oh, there's an Amazon box here. I'll just fucking take that while I walk away." Like that was the only thing I didn't get clear. But apparently she's had some issues, and this is not the first time, but she got charged with two of them, and I think there was issues on some other part of the city or county or something where she got cited for something similar, some type of theft, I think.
There are some people that are addicted to like stealing stuff, and they just can't
kleptos,
stop. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
kleptomaniacs.
Yeah, man. I've never had a package, knock on wood, stolen from me, and I do have a Ring camera. I've never had the opportunity to catch anybody doing any kind of stealing of packages, but I've had packages delivered to me that weren't supposed to be to me, and the same thing where Amazon delivered it to another house instead of mine. But yeah, man, I've never had anybody come up or do anything like that. But
Yeah,
I'm sure it's
for
more
Didn't
common now.
didn't
at
that happen
for
to your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game?
Yeah, where well, it got delivered to like a different house. So then I um reported it as misdelivered or whatever. And so they sent me a replacement one. And then the original one ended up coming to my house as well. So then I ended up getting two games.
yeah,
Very nice.
well, that's why with the Ring camera, it's so common now. But I think what's going on, it's the initial intent was to record people coming to your door, but it's picking up so much other shit now, like animals fucking and people racing down the street and uh, recording what's going on across the street. It gives it just picks up so much information now, and that's why I'm like, and I feel like it's always recording. I don't care what anybody says. That thing's always recording because you always see like videos on YouTube and like TikTok where people post like those Ring camera videos of weird shit going on or some crimes happening and stuff. So it's pretty messed up.
No, for sure. I know that when crime does happen, the police will go around asking, like, "Hey, can I get copies of your Ring footage?" Hey, that happened to me when I used to live in Melrose.
Hmm.
There was something that happened, some shooting or somebody got robbed, and the cops came to my door and they're like, "Hey, can we get copies of your Ring camera footage? We want to see if you captured a car leaving at 1:15 yesterday or whatever, to see if they can catch the car that was driving away."
Yeah, like I need this ticket taken care of
Yeah, yeah.
before I can give any footage. Sign here in here.
But no, man, I think you're right. And having Ring myself, it does give you the option to just constantly record, do momentarily records, like every half hour it'll take a
Oh,
five
really?
second snapshot. Yeah, so it's up to you what you want to select, how much it records. Do you only want to record motions? Do you want to just take snippets throughout the day? Or do you just want to constantly record? And it all depends on the package that you have, because there's storage limits, where if you go over the limits, it'll start deleting the older stuff, or I forget what the circumstances are. But yeah, you could select whatever you want. But yeah, man, with theft becoming more and more people coming onto hard times, I wonder if this is just going to increase. And I'll give her that, man. She's pretty slick. I think, like you mentioned, she gets this food delivery bag. She walks up, oh, this is the wrong house, and then steals the package and walks away. And it all looks kind of seamless. Maybe she wants to kind of fake off the house as far as the package that she's stealing, and kind of obstruct it with her food package. So pretty
Yeah,
slick little method.
that's what I'm saying. Like I think that is where the theft is. It's like in better areas. People are assuming people are just getting like nicer things, and that's why all that happens. But usually, like with the ring stuff, you see videos of people like using like dummy boxes, people slip in, or people come out shooting and shit, or boxes exploding. Like you see all sorts of stuff, and a lot of it's on ring. But I just don't know. Like I said, it's to me, we've been pretty lucky here, and we used Amazon a lot, and we use other stores, and we've been pretty lucky. The biggest issue is depending on the carrier. There's one in particular, I won't say their name. They misdelivered a couple packages more than once, and it's always to the house down at the end. And to this day, we don't know why. I don't know why they put it down there. We even put instructions if they use that carrier, it's this house in the middle of the street, not the one at the end. And sometimes they still fuck it up.
Yeah, but you do have that other security. It's called your suegro next door, keeping an eye on your crib.
Yeah, he's too big. He watches the streets, but he won't watch ours apparently. So yeah, it's like I said, it's I don't know, man. Having a camera there, sometimes it's just like the big brother conspiracy nut in me won't allow it, but it's getting to a point where, yeah, I guess when I like real quick, I'm buying a house and like I'm debating if I should do it at the new house because it is a better area. So I'm like thinking like, man, motherfuckers might try to come and take my shit over here. Like that's the new motherfucker on the block.
Oh hell yeah, you like good shit. I like good shit too,
Yeah,
man.
that's what I'm saying. Like I gotta put some like I'm thinking I need to get like a fucking metal box or some shit and like give the
There
driver
you
the
go.
code.
I like it, man. I
That's
like
an
it.
idea. Actually, that's a good idea for real. If you have the same driver, why not, right? Like,
Right.
just
Or when
trust him with
they
the code. But
something you tell the Amazon people or something or whatever carrier like anything over this size, put it in this thing and here's your pin.
Well, Amazon does have garage delivery. If you have one of those garages that have that pin code, they will come up to your garage, enter the pin that you give them, and slip the package into your garage and then close the door. It's part
Oh
of your
yeah.
Amazon package. Yeah, yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, that
You could
seems interesting. Yeah, I never heard of that.
you could always do a closed circuit security system too. That way, there's no way for Big Brother to get on that.
Or just go
Yep.
to the store, man. Just go to the
Yeah,
store and
well,
buy
that's what I was
yours.
gonna say. Well, doesn't the Walmart delivery don't they go into your house and put the food in the fridge?
That would
Have you
seem weird,
done that,
man.
Danny?
No, man. I've seen that commercial. I don't want some lady just walking in because the funny commercial. There is one where the parents aren't even home. The kids are just there like doing homework, and the lady walks in. Hey, how you guys doing? Just dropping off, and then the parents get home like a second or two later, and I'm just like, nah, man. I don't know if I want this shit going on.
Like, hey man, did you clean up? Did you recycle the bags? You bitch! I told you to recycle them and shit. Like, what happens? Or they take like I had a cup of water or a glass of water. They'd be like, bitch! I told you not to drink our water. Like, I get kind of weird real quick.
Yeah.
That's very iffy, man. I definitely wouldn't trust that shit. But well, anyway, that wraps things up for today, guys. Thank you so much for listening and joining us on Freeform Network, everybody. If you're not already, please follow us on Twitter at FFR Podcast. And if you have any questions or suggestions, the email to drop them is ffnquestions@gmail.com. I believe we're on Stitcher, iTunes, and there's a bunch of different ways to get us on YouTube as well. But anyway, from Freeform Radio, my name is Noel, and we have Daniel.
Yes, sir. Bears aren't playing today. Might go apple picking or maybe pumpkin patch thing. I don't know, man. But I'll see if I could sneak in some football.
There you go. And we got Andy moving on up.
Hey, it's all good, Andy. And thank you guys for listening, and we'll check you out next time.
Well, we wish you a great night and a beautiful tomorrow. Take care.
That was cool, Dad.